And to think that all of this started with food poisoning. So we're in the mid-90s. I had just came home after doing a 2 to 4. I was on parole. A lot of things went on up there in a little bit of short time that I was up there on the 2 to 4. When I was in upstate, I had got crowned and became a member of the Latin Kings. I would never in a million years think that in the span of 2 to 3 years, the tables would be flipped and turned on me. So bad that I had to put this story out. Now, just to give you a quick perspective, I've been in Rikers Island before many times. I know the rules. I know how it goes. I've never had as much as a couple of fights at a dorm, at a cell, whatever. And it's been that. Nothing major. We know the rules. We know how to do this. But I've never been to Rikers Island as a Latin King. So I'm on the run. Those of you who might need a brush up, on the run means you're running from the law. And in the span of that time, I happened to go to IHOP. And in IHOP, I had a steak and egg breakfast with some blueberry pancakes that day. As I left the IHOP on the parking lot, I immediately got sick. The sickness of throwing up, diarrhea, fevers, chills would last for about 3 weeks tops. Within that span, I was scared to death to go to the hospital. I didn't want to be public. The law was looking for me. That's one of the worst feelings in the world. If you ever had the law looking for you, you know that feeling? You walk past a park, you're trying to keep it low key. You see people there enjoying themselves. You see family. See somebody eating a hot dog without a care in the world. And you already know what you're in for. For a minute, you're like, man, I wish I could trade my flesh with yours. You are out here doing this with not a care in your world. Here I am, anticipating the days, the time, the hours, the minutes, because I know I'm going to jail. Now, prior to that poisoning, I've maybe been a Latin King for 1.5 years, 18 months tops. I come to the street. I get into a situation. Led me to the situation I'm going to discuss now. So upon getting arrested, finally, I go over to Bronx House. For those of you who know, Bronx House is the Bronx County jail. No longer exists. It's been downed. It is now a mall. They completely destroyed the building and erected a mall, parking lot, Home Depot, TJ Maxx, Target, you name it. On the side of it, you can still see old plaques of the original Bronx House that is still added on as part of the architecture, the design. It's on River Avenue. One thing about the Bronx House that stuck out the most was that Yankee Stadium was literally right next to it, across the street. I've been in Bronx House before. I remember watching a Yankee game, and you can hear the horns, bang, 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 bang. You hear it over there, and then you hear it on the TV. It was a delayed reaction. So I remember when you go into your cell, you're doing what you're doing, and you hear the crowd just yell out into a yell. And I would run out, look at the TV, because I know somebody's gonna hit a home run or something. And sure enough, boom, home run is up in the air. Yeah, we got the heads up on the home runs just by being in that jail. There was Yankee Stadium, there was the parking lot, there was the train track, and it was Bronx House. Bronx House is the real shitty jail. I've never seen as much rodents and roaches anytime, anywhere in the correctional department. What was holding that building together was literally the toothpaste that people used to paste pictures on the wall. The place was filled with toothpaste. I've been in the dorms, I've been in the cells, same thing, same deal. That toothpaste was keeping those rodents and those roaches alive. And not only that, it was all fluoride out, so they was extra. Yeah, they was walking on lines that you would put in your cell because your commissary, you had to hang it up. If not, you would find your commissary been dug through by Ben and his buddies. They would climb the line. Yeah, there was extra. Those were fluoride creatures. Moving right along. Upon going to Bronx House, I was sick. I went in there for a couple of days. I was seeing the nurse, and found out that I had a salmonella or E. coli poisoning. And she said that I got rescued. First time I ever heard that term. Later on, I would use it 1,000 times because there's a lot of people that got rescued when you really get down to the basics of why they're there. While I was there, I met a fellow that put me on. That dude, you do not look good. You need to see the nurse. That fellow will be called later on, well, Eddie Chingaling, AKA Black Eddie, rest in peace. He spotted how bad I looked it. He thought I was withdrawing from heroin. Those of you who know me knows I don't get high. So I go to the nurse, emergency goes out. I gotta get shipped to Rikers Island. In the state that I am, I gotta get shipped to Rikers Island. They have the facility and the medical needs and the treatment that I need at that moment. New York State is real articulate when it comes to handling of the health of inmates coming in. They want to make sure you have the best medicines or the care that you was taking before your incident. It is more costly for them to lose you while you're in their care than for them to provide you that medicine, that medication, that aid. So I was shipped over to C73. C73, they put an IV on me and they sent me packing on my way. Mind you, I just did a 2 to 4, was on the run for a couple of months, been a Lion King for a year and a half, and there I was. I'm getting put in population for the first time in Rikers Island since the sickness. I don't look too good. Now let me tell you something. Appearance is everything. How you first go in there, Rikers Island, sets the tone. It sets the tone. You go looking messed up like a derelict, you're gonna get treated like one. You go in there, top dog, made up, you better hold your stuff down. Act like you was owner of all that. Act like you was boss. Being that appearance is everything, I'm just dying to get my visit so that I can get my new gear, my clothes, and get my fresh stuff. At this point, I just been puking for 3 weeks. So they put me in this house. I believe it's 8 upper in C73 on the cell side. C73 has 2 sides. There's the dorm side, which is of less high classification. It's like low to middle classifications. Sometimes at that time they even had like program dorms, maybe the mess hall dorm over there. But on the cell side, where the cells are, meant that there was a high, really good chance that you was gonna go upstate for a very long time. So when you got classified upon going into the building, they already know where you're at. Got spit to the cell side, 8 upper. Mind you, I've been to the island before. I know how this goes. I know the dynamics of your introduction, of making the first, what's the word I'm looking for? Impression. First impression is everything. Actually, first impression on Rikers Island is everything. Trying to get on the phone. I get into the house now. I get let into the house. I put my stuff in the cell. And it was real early because I didn't come like no regular other bus time. I was like on emergency, like hospital, medical stuff. So I came alone. Nobody really seen. I came in discreet, so to say, because I didn't come in with a group. I came in, one dude, the cell, came out. When I come out, first I go into the cell, I'm greeted. Somebody asks me, you know, what I rep. The dude was a Spanish guy. And I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm Lion King, you know. I was already told and groomed that it would be a sin to deny who you are. So I said, yeah. He just looked at me, didn't say one word, and disappeared. Like, what the hell is going on? I come out and I want to get on the phone. The whole phone thing changed. It used to be straight phones. Now it's, you got to dial a code and an ID and a PIN, and they mark your time off. They probably would have saved a lot of lives if they would have done that back then. But I guess the technology didn't exist. So I approached to the phone, which is called stepping to the phone. I stepped to the phone. I said, yo, who got this phone? I got to get my word out. Got a visitor coming. Some dude runs out. Actually, a bunch of dudes run out from their cells. They looking, whoa, they heard the word phone. Now everybody's on point. People's coming out of here, and it was so early. People still brushing their teeth, still got towels around their necks with no shirt. I believe it was like right before chow. So some dude points to the phone and he's like, hey, I don't care. So I grab the phone. Some kid runs out and he's like, yo, put that fucking phone down. In this house, you gotta give up a click to get a click. The term is new to me at the time. But what he meant was, I gotta give up some of my time if I want to get on the phone later on with his PIN. These people were selling PIN numbers to these guys. Now, I could understand you didn't got nobody in the street. You didn't got no girl, wife. Kids don't want to talk to you. You've been a straight dirtbag, straight crackheaded or whatever it is in the street, and you come home and don't got nobody. They can sell their PIN numbers to whoever it is, just paying little cigarettes or whatever, so that they can get on the phone extra. But I'm not that guy. So I did what anybody going through that situation that know what Rikers Island is about. I pulled out the phone, I ripped it, yanked it right off the cord, and threw the shit right at homeboy's face. Hit him in the face. The whole fucking house jumped on top of me. Now, I don't know if any of you guys caught a whole house beatdown. It's kind of like the Matrix. Because while you're swinging away at air, basically, and you're getting pounded on, people can't really get their grabs on you like they want to. So when that's going down, and I'm getting pounded upon this whole house. Like, I remember one point I'm like hunched over, grab somebody, and the whole house is coming up. And all you hear is like, yo, let me get at him, son. Yo, move over. Yo, son, yo, son, chill. Yo, they arguing with each other, trying to get at me. Meanwhile, I'm hunkered down like this. I see stuff splattering all over the floor, which were objects that they were using to hit me and break over me, over my body. Seen a piece of stick, shattered. Somebody's watch, a cup, broken. You know the green Rikers Island cup. For personal use only. You're accountable for that cup. The only way there's gonna be an extra cup lying around if somebody goes home. There's one lying around. Those cups, by the way, also, like plastics, are used to melt down and create weapons. So sometimes there's thieving of cups. You put your cup down, it will be disappearing because somebody thinks he's MacGyver and he wants to make a weapon out of your cup. Which, by the way, those weapons are only for the first line of defense, which is bluffing. Because the first line of defense for Rikers Island is the bluff. So by you melting this plastic and making it crafty and smooth like a razor, will give anybody the illusion that you would take somebody's head off. When in all reality, you could probably just fight your way right off of that. 9 out of 10, you just get out of there with little scrapes and minor things. But the first line of defense in Rikers Island is the bluff. So I'm getting my ass handed to me. On a stick, silver platter. I can't believe what I just did. I don't think I've ever had to go that far for the phone. I've usually just had to ask, yo, who I speak to, speak with somebody, put me on. We get cool, we get phone time. Or if somebody want to get grimy later on and you have a fight with a person that just happens to have phone time, guess what? That's your will. You inherit that phone time. Yeah, I was a sprung gangster too. I know how that goes, that's why. So I'm getting my ass handed to me. The squad goes up in there, yank me out of there. I'm all wobbly. Can't believe what's going on. I'm weak. I'm sick. I got a damn poisoning. My blood was poisoned. For 3 weeks, I almost died. They had to run 2 tests on me to find out that that's what I had, because they couldn't believe I was alive. That extra water and that Pedialyte kept me alive. Just so you know. So, I get yanked out of there. 8-upper. Holy shit. The whole house had just toppled on top of me. Now, when the squad came and extracted me from the dorm, from the house, I mean, they took me down to the reception area and they assigned me to a new house. This house was, I think it was like 10-upper or something like that. And it was all the way at the end. It was like the last cell, the last house that was on the south side. So I go over there. When I go over there, mind you, I'm lumped up. I'm weak. I'm pale. My sneakers don't have shoelaces because of the transfer didn't allow me. The medical transfer didn't allow me to. I look like straight nothing. So I go in that house. Over there, I'm greeted by this brother. And this bro, he has this mean underbite. Look like Lou Ferrigno, but a mean underbite. Big as hell. So he's like, yo, what's going on? And I'm explaining to him what's going on, what just happened over there. And he's like, wait a minute. So he goes in the dorm, whatever, in the house, gets people together, tells me to go to the back. I go to the back. There's some Latin kings. They're like, explain again what happened. I explained to them that my name was King such and such. They just looking at me. They disappear. I go in my cell, I'm like, oh, here it goes again. We go to chow. I'm on point now. The chow bell goes off. We walking down the chow. I've been in the house maybe not even an hour. Maybe. As I'm coming down to chow, you have to go to the mains. I was on the uppers. So we're coming down the stairs. And I'm coming down the stairs. Some kid bumps me. He bumps me coming down. And he turns around. He's like, what? So right away, it was just out of reaction. You react. You know, so I took a swing at him. He's still on his feet, but he's toppling down the stairs. As he's toppling down the stairs, the bro with the mean underbite knocks him. I mean, he shattered the side of his ear so hard that his head hit the wall. Boom! And all you heard was the sound from the kid's head hitting the wall. You ain't even hear the punch. You just heard the dong. The kid falls down. I'm looking around like, what the hell's going on? People's like, yo, what's going on? Well, we fall in place, we fall in line, we start walking the child. What had happened was, you know what happened. I'm coming in the house with an outrageous story. How I just yanked the damn phone. I'm looking like Pookie from New Jack City. And it's a little outlandish. So they sent somebody to test me. The guy with the underbite was the only one that wasn't in on it. He was out there playing dominoes somewhere. He didn't know what the plan was. So he knocked homeboy out. Again, we go back to the dorm. I find out what's going on. I don't know what you think about it. I understand shit like this happens, and you gotta be ready and willing to meet any opposition. So I felt. Two days go by. I'm just laying low. Nobody really messing with me. But nobody's violating either. This guy walks in from another house, from 8 Upper. Yeah, the house where I just came from 2 days ago. They ran him out of there. The only reason between me and him was that he was already in the house. Where I had went, identified myself, and got my ass handed to me. He was in on the down low. Didn't say one word, and didn't jump when his bro was in distress. So he walks into our house, an 8 Upper. He goes, he tells one of the bros, yeah, that brother right there, I seen him in the house and where I was at, and he yanked the phone and he went all out with the house. This guy fought the entire house. Everybody turns back around and looks at me like, huh? The homie was telling the truth. Homeboy right here, now we gotta deal with him. Because while he was in that house and didn't help a brother out or identify himself, now he's coming out with the story. Now he gets handled. You gotta go. That was the first time I went to Rikers Island as a king. And those were my very first encounters before I even got a visit. What happens next changes everything. Everything. But what I'm gonna do is drop it on the next video. What happens next after this? We gotta break it down into some chapters. This is some heavy stuff. This is not easy for me to say. It gets crazy, it gets dirty, it gets grimy. At the end of my little episodes, I want you to be the judge and find out who was the true oppressors. Was it the Spanish? Was it the blacks? Was it the police? Was it the criminal system?